What kind of growth opportunities have you been able to give them and learning opportunities for your team?
Yeah, so I'll start with our head of ops, Kudden. So he joined us about a year ago, and he had experience working at another US based bookkeeping company, but it was a lot of just data entry, and the American business owner rarely came into the office. It seemed like he was just kind of putting in his hours. He was good. He knew basic
Mm,
accounting principles. He was really hardworking, but that was his previous experience, and so he almost didn't join us because we were a startup. Like he was a bit nervous about that, but then he did eventually join us, and we threw him in the deep end. Him and I both were
mm,
doing data reviews where we go over. We were subcontracting under another company, so we were doing this for another bookkeeping firm, where we were going over their clients' files with a really detailed checklist and just finding every error we could find and creating a report of errors. And so Cutter and I were both doing that. We were both a bit in over our heads,
mm,
but kind of that camaraderie of learning together. We had a whiteboard, and every time we'd finish one, we put it up there, and
mm.
it was a great way for us both to learn and to kind of build that camaraderie. And then when we started getting our own direct clients, Tim and I were really busy building the company. Tim's the CEO, I'm doing sales and marketing. And so a lot of the actual operations fell on Cuttin. He had learned enough from the data reviews, and when we started getting those direct clients, we started having him communicate directly with the clients and basically take complete ownership of the projects, which once again was another real stretch for him. But he did really well, and once again, early 2025, we got a bunch of new clients. This was right after we promoted him to head of ops, and so every one of these pushes, he really appreciates the push. And sometimes, we've thrown him in the deep end, and he's gone underwater and come up sputtering. But I can tell, like, he appreciates the push. He's developing his skills quickly. Salary wise, he was able to advance very quickly. So yeah, I think it's been a professionally a very transformative experience for him. And then Tim and I moved from NCR to Dehradun, and he stayed in Noida. Now he's able to build out a team there. And so he's working remotely from Tim and I, but he's building out his own team culture there, taking care of clients completely independently of us. And he shared multiple times how transformational it's been being part of this company and just the growth. I remember him recently when we promoted him to head of ops. He said that it's always been, and this is our company terminology again, but he said the comment he made was it's always been his passion to create value for clients. And he knew that one day someone would notice that and would give him the opportunities that he was looking for. And so, yeah, it's been so exciting seeing him blossom as we've given him these challenges.
That's an awesome example there. And I think the thing that most people probably wouldn't understand, having worked in India before, is you talked about his ability to move up so quickly. That really doesn't happen a lot in India because it's more of a seniority type culture where,
Hmm.
oh, I've been here the longest, so I get that position kind of thing, rather than more a meritocracy where if you can handle it, you're able to move up. And I think
Right.
people don't really always get that opportunity. So it's great that you're able to give that because I think that's important. As you're providing that value, you're able to reap some of the rewards, and so that's an awesome way that you're able to help them. So how do you coach members of your team to provide value? That can be difficult. It might seem easy, on the surface, but it's much harder in practice.
Yeah, so from day one, it's baked into our company culture. So when a new team member joins, there's a lot of repetition that our clients' problems are our problems. We really clearly try to spell out our expectations and our company culture, which is the biggest asset for us is if you come across a problem, don't go to your senior, figure it out if at all possible. And sort of that tenacity to grow. Like we always want to be growing, learning new skills, we offer our team free courses that they can take. We always want to be pushing to personally grow, but then always to find little ways to improve our clients' experiences, make their chart of accounts a little bit better, make their reports a little bit more meaningful. Always be looking for those little ways to add value. And there's something I thought of recently. So if a friend came to you with a big problem that they need help with, and you go over to their house and you work for 8 hours or 4 hours on it, and you're like, okay, I put in my time, I'm going to go home, but you didn't actually solve the problem, they wouldn't care less how many hours you put in helping them. I mean, maybe it's a nice gesture, but really they need their issue figured out. And so that's the culture we try to set, is like our clients, they don't really care what our hourly rate is, how many hours we put in. They've just got problems that they need solved, and they're willing to pay good money for it. And so yeah, we really try to, like I said, bake it into our culture, our terminology from day one is, hey, we're out here to solve issues for our clients because they're busy, they have a ton of responsibility. We need to free up their time and get them the financial insights they need to scale their company.
I love that you start with culture. Really, that's really it. And we don't really understand. There's this David Foster Wallace had this talk called Water, and there's this analogy that he uses where an older fish is swimming by two young fish, and he says, "How's the water today, boys?" And the two young fish look at each other and says, "What's water?" And they, because it's all around us, and we don't really understand the culture we're in until you make a move like going to India or going to another country and understanding that there is different cultures, there is differences that need to be bridged or overcome, and there's benefits on both sides. Doesn't mean one's better or one's worse, but there is some bridging that needs to happen there, some learning on both sides to be able to be effective working in a cross-cultural type of situation.